Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about how I got started on my DIY talks journey. So if you're interested in learning about that, then keep watching. So I never thought that I would be injecting my own tox, but when I realized how expensive it was getting every 3 months, then I realized I can't afford this anymore. So I had to do something about it. I was climbing up into the, $800, $900 realm every 3 months as far as cost goes. Once I started adding my crows in and that brow lift, and this wasn't even with a lip flip, then it was getting really pricey and I realized I couldn't keep up with it. But I knew that I wanted to continue Botox. So that's when I saw some DIY talks on TikTok and I found out that this was possible. So before I started doing this, I was already getting Botox for steadily for about a year, I believe. And I've had it prior to that, but I didn't keep up with it. But then I promised myself once my lines started setting in that I was going to keep up with it. So I was about steady going for a year, and then it was just the cost was just it was just too much, and I knew I wouldn't be able to afford it. So I had to do something about it. That's when I saw the DIY talks community start popping up on my TikTok because I was always interested in aesthetics. I was always, watching videos about that, learning about that. And that's when I started really doing some research. So the fact that I already had medical background, I think really helped me learn quicker than maybe the average person because I was already trained on how to give injections, how to do, how to reconstitute. I already knew all of that going in. I already knew anatomy. I already knew the muscles, the skin. I already knew all of that. So that I think definitely gave me a leg up on how quick it takes to learn. But the average person that doesn't have medical experience can also very easily learn this. It's just they wouldn't have that initial jump start like I did. So maybe it would take a little bit longer for the average person to learn, but it's completely possible for anybody to learn this. You're giving an injection. I mean, like, let's be real here. These injectors, I feel like, are trying to like gatekeep this because obviously it's their livelihood, but it's learning, the angle and the depth to give an injection at. I mean, like, let's really be for real. It doesn't take a genius to do it. It's not brain surgery. It's an injection. Yes, there's a lot to learn. And I think that if somebody is going to do this, that they really, really need to dive in deep down this rabbit hole and spend a lot of time learning before you even think about touching a needle. But it's possible for anybody to learn this, really. And I don't know why these injectors get so upset. Like, you can clearly see that I'm doing a good job. I'm not spreading misinformation. I'm not putting incorrect information out there. I would never do that. But, some of these injectors, I just think are jealous. Like, I hate to say that, but I think that's what it is like they don't want people learning this, obviously, because like this is their livelihood, but it's our faces and like we could do whatever we want with our own bodies. So, I've also had injectors come on here and compliment me. So those are the real ones there. That to me shows that you're not just in it for the money and that you're willing to admit when somebody else can do a good job and learn it. So I don't know. The other injectors are, to me, very selfish and jealous. Anybody that's going to come on here and report people, and I can't. And mind you that not every state requires a license to do injectables. So you don't have to have a degree in all states to do injectables, which means, again, to further prove my point that it's possible for anybody to do this. You don't necessarily have to be a nurse or have to be an NP or have to be, whatever. There are states that don't require that licensure to do this, but we're not performing it on other people. We're doing it to ourselves. So I really don't see why they care so much because I'm not sitting here trying to like make money and like inject people. It's just simply for myself and that's it. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent on that. So let's stay on track. Yeah, so I started doing my research. Obviously had a leg up because I'm in the medical field already. But, it took me, I didn't rush this. I did order the talks, the supplies, and I had it on hand for a while. And I just made sure that I was 100% comfortable and 100% confident before I did this. So the first time that I did my DIY talks, I was nervous, and that is a very normal thing. I'm already a very shaky person to begin with, just naturally without even being nervous. And once my nerves get going, I like shake like a leaf. Even though I'm confident with a needle and I've injected other people, like, throughout my medical career, it's different to take a needle to your own face. I feel like that's kind of, sticking yourself dead center in your face is hard, and it's normal to be nervous to start doing something like that. But I promise that feeling does fade and it does go away, but you will be nervous almost every time you do it, really, especially afterwards. You're confident in your markings and you're feeling really good about everything, and then after you're like, oh my god, did I do it right? What are my results gonna look like? Like, oh my god, I fucked it up. Did I fuck it up? That's like an every time thing. I think this is just like a normal thing that you're gonna feel, obviously, because it's not something where you see the results right away. It's like you have to like wait and see if you did a good job. But once I saw those results for the first time, and I'm telling you, like, the first time I did it, I nailed it. Like, I felt very empowered because I did such a great job and everything looked really good. And I was like, wow, this is possible. Like, I can do this. This is great. I felt so empowered, so proud of myself. That is another thing that I really love about DIY Talks is it's so empowering. So anyway, first time I did it, did a great job, loved it, and I was like, that's it, I was hooked. Currently, my favorite obviously is Naboda. I've spoken about it a bunch of times. Naboda is Jeuveau in the States, which is FDA approved. So that's another reason why I love Naboda so much. Also, it has really quick kick-in time, and I feel like it lasts really long, and it's a very strong tox. So I have been kind of researching Dentox. I saw another DIYer on here talking about it, and she's kind of tempting me to try that one. So I might do that. I think her name is Jessie. She's beautiful. So I've been doing my own treatments now every 3 months. I pretty much keep it every 3 months on the dot. My tox just does not last past 3 months. As you can see, it's almost 3 months, and I'm definitely starting to get some movement back. I usually right at like the 2.5 month mark is really when I start to see my movement coming back, which I hate, by the way. But I'm gonna make myself wait until the 3 month mark because you don't want to develop any kind of resistance to the tox. So you always want to make sure that you wait, the proper amount of time before doing the next treatment. I'm not saying this is something that everyone should try. Obviously, if you're not comfortable sticking a needle, into your face, and if you're not willing to take the time to really, really learn and practice, then, you shouldn't do DIY talks. Maybe it's not for everyone, but if you feel like you can really dedicate yourself to learning everything that you need to know before you inject yourself, I think anybody is capable of doing this. Really, it's not that hard. There are way harder things, brain surgery, root canal. Like, we're not doing that over here. We're just injecting a little needle with a shot. It's just a shot, not a big deal. But at least I don't see it as a big deal as long as you do the proper research. You'll always hear me repeating that. It's like, do the proper research. Know your information. Know what you need to know before you jump into something like this. As long as you know that, anyone can learn this skill. I think it's okay to educate yourself and take control of your own beauty. Why do we have to pay close to $1,000 every 3 months if we can learn to do this ourselves? So it really is very empowering. So tell me, would you ever try DIY Talks? If you guys have any questions, let me know. Bye.